Hi, it's Karen here from Nurturing Nurses. Today I just want to demonstrate to you how to change your baby's nappy or diaper. So before you begin this task, you do need to make sure you collect all of the relevant equipment required. So you will need obviously a changing mat, or if you prefer a changing table, you will need the correct size nappy. This one is a little preemie nappy, so usually good for babies that are only around 2 kilos. And then a size 1 nappy, it does say the size there on the back, is usually good for a newborn. And then of course, as your baby gets bigger, you can just buy bigger sizes, which is appropriate for your baby's weight. Okay, you will also need a little nappy sack to put your dirty nappy in, some water wipes, and if you wish, you can use a barrier cream as well, but this is optional. Okay, just to talk to you a little bit about nappies. So nappies, most brands nowadays, they do tell you which is the back of the nappy, so you know which way to position it. So on this one in particular, if you can just see there, it does say the back. And on this little preemie one, it does say back. And then just at the bottom there, under the P, it says front. Also on most brands of nappies now, they have this yellow line, if you can just see that running down from the front, right through to the back. Now this yellow line changes colour to a bluey green if the baby has weaned. So in the very early days of your breastfeeding, and you are trying to monitor whether your baby is meeting breastfeeding expectations in relation to how many wees they're having. For example, day 1, 1 wee, day 2, 2 wees, day 3, 3 wees, etc. It's sometimes difficult to see whether your baby's weed, especially if your baby's past meconium in the nappy, the thick, black, sticky, the first poops they have for the first couple of days. So it would be hard to see whether the baby's weed. Now, meconium or poop doesn't change that yellow line colour to blue or green, only wee does. So if you have got a nappy full of meconium and the line has changed colour, you will know that there's wee in that nappy. And just be mindful as well with little girls, when you're checking the line, always check around the back of the nappy, because they tend to trickle underneath. So you'll see the colour change on the back of the nappy rather than the front of the nappy. Okay, so we'll get into the demonstration for you now. Okay, so to change your baby's nappy, it's always safest to do this on the floor. So you would need a changing mat on the floor, but alternatively, if you want to use a changing table, that's fine too. But just be aware, it's never safe to leave a newborn baby on a changing table unattended. So just bear that in mind. To change your baby's nappy, we don't need to fully undress the baby. We just need to expose the bottom half of the baby. So I will just open up the sleep suit halfway down. All right, and then I will tuck that right underneath the baby's back to try and protect it from any poop that may be in the nappy. All right, I'm now going to get my equipment ready. So I will take some wipes. You may need to use one wipe or you may need to use several. But use as many as you need, especially if your baby is in the early days and has passed meconium. Meconium is very sticky and it does take a good number of wipes to get your baby clean if there is meconium in the nappy. Okay, we've got some wipes ready. I'll take the lid off my barrier cream if you're wishing to use it and open up my nappy ready. All right, so we'll begin by opening the little tabs at the front of the nappy and then stick them down back onto the nappy just there, because they are sticky and you don't want them sticking to your baby's skin. And if your baby has had a poop in the nappy, you can use the front of the nappy to scoop that poop away. And then you can leave that nappy just under the baby there, because if the baby does happen to have a wee or anything during the nappy change, you've just got that added protection there under the baby. Okay, so we want to clean the baby, and being mindful with little girls, we always wipe from the front to the back. So we'll take a wipe, we will wipe down, fold, and another wipe round the back, down, another wipe round the back, popping that dirty one in your nappy sack as you go. At this time, I do remove the dirty nappy, popping that in the nappy bag, and I pop the clean nappy underneath. All right, I then let my baby's legs relax, and then I will pay particular attention with another wipe and clean the baby's groin area. Because if this groin area, these skin creases, are not cleaned properly, they can get really quite sore. So I'm happy now that my baby is nice and clean. At this point, if you do wish to apply some barrier cream, you literally just need a little pea-sized blob. You don't need very much at all, and you can spread that all over the baby's buttocks, just all over the bottom area there, and then you can pop some in the groin area as well. Okay. Now to secure the nappy, we just pull this over, and then using the little tabs here at the back, we just pull them across. Now we don't want the nappy to be tied too tight, but we don't want it to be too loose either, because if it's too loose, babies can wee out of these gaps here at the side, or the nappy can slip down. Okay, you want to be able to get 2 fingers underneath, but you don't want it too loose where the nappy's moving up and down. If your baby is in the very early days and has still got the umbilical cord and clamp in situ, you can position the nappy a little bit differently for securing. You can fold it just over at the front and then position that way, so that the umbilical cord and the clamp is exposed and there's no friction on there from the nappy area. Once you've done that and you're happy, you can go and wash your hands. Always wash your hands after changing a nappy. And then once my hands are nice and clean, I would come back and dress my baby. Again, bearing in mind, if you've changed your baby on a changing table, always good to take your baby off the table before going washing your hands, because it's not safe to leave a baby unattended on a table that is of a certain height in case they fall off. And then dress your baby. And bear in mind, in the early days, you might need to change your baby at least 8 times in 24 hours, if not more. All right, so that concludes our nappy changing demonstration today. Thank you.